Welcome back, designers. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to download custom patterns from brusheasy.com and how to install those custom patterns to Photoshop and to Photopea for those of you guys who are working from home without Photoshop access. As you guys know, brusheasy.com offers a lot of free brushes that we can install to Photoshop to use on our projects, but they also have a pretty decent variety of patterns as well. So first, let's go over how to find them. When we go to brusheasy.com, we're going to select Browse by Category. Then I'm going to scroll down and select the category titled Patterns. Just a reminder to all of you, when you guys see a pattern or a brush that has this little flag, this little green flag that says premium, that means you must pay for it with BrushEasy's premium account. So if you don't want to spend money on it, just ignore them and scroll down and find some of the other free patterns. So right here I see one called Fabric. I'm going to click on it and just verify what it is. Problem. I see in the title it's a brush and it's an ABR file, which means it's a Photoshop brush, so I don't want to use that because it's not a pattern. I'm assuming the person who put this on BrushEasy just made a mistake categorizing it, so you have to be careful with some of the content that you download. Make sure it says pattern in the title. So let's try again. Alright, we finally found a pattern. This one is called Neon Light Particles, and it looks really interesting and highly saturated, and I'm dying to use it. And I can see in the description, it's a neon light particle stripe seamless pattern design. So what I'm going to do is hit free download, and a zip file should be downloading momentarily to my downloads folder. Now that zip file fully downloaded, I'm going to go ahead and click on it to expand it. And view the contents included therein. Now, I can see in the contents of this folder, I have several different things. I have what's called a pat file, and I have several JPEGs that show me a preview of the patterns. So right now, I'm just going to go ahead and ignore these JPEGs. And instead, I'm going to select the pat file or pattern file, copy it. So I'm going to press Ctrl C to copy it and put it in my desktop using Ctrl V to paste so that I can easily find it. Now what I'm going to do is flip over to Photoshop. And there's several different ways that I can actually open up a new pattern. Just for kicks, I'm actually going to make it easier on myself, and I'm going to select the pattern stamp tool in tool number 9. So if I toggle tool number 9, I have clone stamp and pattern stamp tool. I'm going to select pattern stamp, and then I'm going to go to my pattern selector up in the options bar. Now there's a very limited variety here because I just have the basic pattern showing, but if I go and click on this little gear icon, I can see that there's a much bigger variety of patterns down here in all these different categories. But I just want to actually load that brand new pattern in, so it creates a separate category all its own. So I'm going to select Load Patterns, select my desktop, and find that pat file I just downloaded, and click Load. And within minutes, I can now see that pattern has been added to my pattern selector. So I'll just click on that first one randomly, and then I'm going to increase my brush size for the pattern stamp tool just so I can check it out. And that's what it looks like when I try to paint with that pattern. I'll try a different one with a different brush. This time I'm using a soft round brush. And that's what it looks like when I try to paint with that pattern. I can also, of course, use these same patterns to add a pattern fill layer. using my adjustments. So I'm just going to go ahead and make this layer invisible. Go down to my new fill and adjustment layer icon that looks like a yin and yang symbol at the bottom of my layers panel. Select pattern, and I can see all those patterns were now added, so I can use those to create some kind of interesting dynamic background for my work. So that's fairly easy. If you're working on Photopea from home, I'm going to show you how to do it. It's a very similar way. As we know, Photopea is a free web-based editor, and unfortunately it does not have the pattern stamp tool. So if I go to tool number 9 on Photopea, I only have the clone stamp tool. So that's a little bit of a bummer, but that's okay. We can still add different patterns in a similar fashion. I'm going to go ahead and select the new fill and adjustment layer icon and select pattern fill. And I can see that Photopea has a pretty limited range of patterns available. I would say they're mostly hideous patterns. So let's remedy that situation. If you look at this little drop down arrow, it opens up several different options that I can do to this pattern selector. So I'm going to select load pat. And again, look for that pattern file in my desktop. Click on it, select open, and wait for Photopea to load those to its program. I'm going to click OK so that they're available next time I use Photopea. Look at the pattern menu, and instantly I just added those brand new patterns to Photopea as well. So it tries to remedy the fact that Photopea doesn't really have that great of a selection to begin with. So I hope that has been helpful to you guys in creating different projects using patterns. I can't wait to see what you guys create. Just a reminder, anytime that you guys are on brusheasy.com, make sure that it says pattern in the title and pattern in the description so that you guys don't run into any issues downloading different patterns and uploading different patterns to Photoshop. Can't wait to see what you guys make. Hit me up if you have any questions. Bye!